Be Wyoming heading into Iowa City, Iowa to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. And I might get a little bit of hate from my family on this one, but I'm calling it upset here. Wyoming has one of the best quarterbacks in the nation this year, Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen and Wyoming will pull off the upset over Iowa.
Wow, that's a bold pick. And I'm finally going to disagree with my friend Scott here. I'm going to go with Iowa Hawkeyes. They're at home. They're tough at home. They don't play great offense, but they play great defense. I like Iowa in this one.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Next up, Bowling Green heading into East Lansing, Michigan to take on Michigan State. And I'll be taking Michigan State and that very good coach that they have right now at Michigan State. Give me the Spartans to get the win in East Lansing this weekend.
Michigan State had their worst season last year in probably a decade, but I think Michigan State bounces back this year and they win this game by 2 touchdowns.
Next up, North Carolina in a game that I think that they need to get a win as they will take on, let me check here, California Golden Bears. I will be taking North Carolina in this game. This is going to be one of the best games of the weekend. Give me the Tar Heels.
I probably disagree with my man here. I'm going to go with Cal Bears. I think it's going to be a close game. No Trubisky, no win. Cal Bears.
Next up, Bethune-Cookman heading into Miami to take on the number 18 ranked Hurricanes. I'll be taking Miami. They lost Brad Kaya. I just don't think that's going to be enough. Give me Miami in this game to find a new quarterback and get the win.
It is painful for me to pick Miami. It hurts, but yet I'm still going to pick Miami. Hurricanes win this one.
Next up, Youngstown State heading into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to take on the Pitt Panthers. I'll be taking Pitt in this game. They need to find a running back without James Conner this year. I'll be taking Pitt to get the win over Youngstown State.
Youngstown State is a great Division II team, but I think they're going up in class, and I agree. I think Pitt will win this game by 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Next up, NC State heading into South Carolina to take on Will Muschamp's South Carolina Gamecocks, and I'll be taking Will Muschamp and his Gamecocks to get the win here. This is a very good South Carolina team that they can find an offense, so I'll be taking South Carolina to get the win for Coach Muschamp.
I think this will be a closer game than people expect, but I also agree SEC is just better than the ACC, and South Carolina is just better than NC State. South Carolina wins this one, but only by a field goal.
Next up, the University of Texas El Paso will be heading into Norman, Oklahoma to take on Baker Mayfield and his Oklahoma Sooners. New head coach at Oklahoma and Mike Riley, and I will be taking Mike Riley to get his first win as Oklahoma head coach. Give me Baker Mayfield and his Sooners to get the win.
If you're Oklahoma and you just lost a coach you've had for over a decade, good team to play is UTEP. Oklahoma wins this one big.
Next up, one of the 2 big games of the weekend as number 11 Michigan faces number 17 Florida. If it wasn't for those 7 suspensions that Florida has in this game, I would have taken Florida, but I'm going to go with Michigan and won't speak. Jim Harbaugh will start off 1-0 once again, and Michigan gets the win in Arlington over Florida.
Boo! Boo! Unfortunately, I agree. With all those suspensions, as much as I want to pick Florida with my hair, I got to pick Michigan in this one.
Next up, Temple heading into Notre Dame to take on the Fighting Irish. I'll be taking Temple in this game. I think Temple is a very underrated team this year in the American Athletic Conference. And Notre Dame just lost their quarterback Malik Zaire to Florida. So I'll be taking Temple to pull off the upset.
And I actually agree with this one. Temple is a good team. Temple's a program on the rise. And I do not like Notre Dame. I enjoy watching them lose. So I'm going to go with Temple in this one to win by touchdown.
Yep. Next up, my sister's school right now, William & Mary, heading into Scott Stadium to take on, and Charlottesville, Virginia, to take on the Virginia Cavaliers. UVA is going to get the win here. As much as I hate to pick them, I think Virginia is going to find a way to walk out of Charlottesville with the win. Close game, but I think Virginia walks out of there with the win.
William & Mary has better students, but Virginia has better football players. I'm picking Virginia.
Next up will be Troy heading into Boise State and Boise, Idaho to take on the Boise State Broncos. We should just call Boise State Running Back University because the last 3 running backs they've had all have had great careers in the NFL. Well, we'll see about the other one, but J.J. and Doug Martin have had great careers. We'll see what Jeremy McNichols does in the NFL with Tampa Bay this year. But I'll be taking Boise State on the blue turf to get the win.
Boise State almost never loses at home. Boise State in this one, big.
Next up, Stony Brook, heading into Tampa to take on Charlie Strong and his new team, his home opener for USF. I'll be taking Charlie Strong and his USF Bulls to get the win in their home opener at Raymond James Stadium. Bulls get the win over Stony Brook.
As much as I don't like the Bulls, I think it's embarrassing that they have scheduled Stony what?
Stony Brook.
Stony Brook?
Yes.
Never heard of it. Since I never heard of it, USF gets the win.
Next up, Kentucky heading into Southern Mississippi. I'll be taking Kentucky in this game. I think Kentucky could be a bowl team this year if they can get a couple wins in the conference. I'll be taking the Wildcats to get the win here in this game.
For my friend Terry Jewell, who's a big Kentucky fan, I'll take Kentucky in this one by 10.
Next up, Western Michigan without PJ Fleck this year will be heading in to Los Angeles, California to take on the number 4 ranked USC Trojans. And I'll be taking Sam Darnold and his USC Trojans to get the win here. Sam Darnold's been one of the best quarterbacks in college football the last couple of years. And after what I saw in the Rose Bowl last year, I'll be taking USC to get the win.
USC for the last 5 to 7 years has been incredibly overrated. Preseason this year is not one of those years. USC wins big.
Next up, James Madison heading into East Carolina. A very good team in James Madison, but I think East Carolina's going to walk out of there with a win. Somehow, some way, they'll walk out of there with a win out of Greenville, North Carolina.
Monkey Man over here is going to disagree. James Madison, defending national champions, has enough winner's pride to go into East Carolina and pull off the upset and win by a field goal.
That could be a close game. Next up will be Appalachian State heading into between the hedges and Athens, Georgia to take on the number 15 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. This could be an upset, but I just don't see it. I think Georgia and that running back Nick Chubb will find a way to get the win. Give me the Bulldogs over App State.
Appalachian State, Michigan Part 2? I don't think so. Georgia wins this one and then win it big by 3 touchdowns.
I'm going to say it's a little closer. I'm going to say they're going to win by maybe 10 points.
Fair enough.
Next up will be Houston heading in to University of Texas San Antonio. They just lost their quarterback Greg Ward Jr. last year, but I still think they have enough offense. Give me the Houston Cougars to get the win over UT San Antonio.
There's a college in San Antonio?
Yes.
Wow, okay. So, I've never heard of them, so there's no way I can pick them.
Yeah.
I'm picking Houston in this one.
Next up will be SMU hosting Stephen F. Austin. We've actually been to the SMU campus. It's a beautiful campus, nice field. So I'll be taking SMU in this game. Very strong team this year. I'll be taking the Mustangs to get the win.
I never pick a team that's named after a person. An entire college named after a person? That doesn't seem very legit. I'm going with the SMU Mustangs.
Next up, Baylor in Waco, Texas. First year head coach there in Baylor. And they will be taking on Liberty. I think Baylor's going to blow them out. I see Baylor winning this game by at least 3 touchdowns.
Liberty better pray. They better pray hard because they're going to lose big to Baylor by at least 3 touchdowns.
Next game up, Central Arkansas heading into K-State to take in Manhattan, Kansas to take on the number 20 ranked Kansas State Wildcats. I'll be taking K-State in this game, and the coach that never retires. I'll be taking K-State to get the win.
Even though I think Bo Snyder turns 100 this year, I'm still taking Kansas State because that guy can still coach.
Yep. Next up, Georgia Southern heading into Auburn, Alabama to take on the Auburn Tigers. I'll be taking Auburn in this game. I think Auburn's got a very good team this year, so I'll be taking Auburn to get the win over Georgia Southern.
My man and I are agreeing way too much, but I got to go SEC on this one. Auburn Tigers roll by at least 2 touchdowns.
Next up, the number 16 ranked Louisville Cardinal heading into Indianapolis, Indiana to take on the Purdue Boilermakers. I'll be taking Louisville and Lamar Jackson. I think they should be a little bit higher in the polls right now, but give me Louisville and Lamar Jackson to get the win against Purdue.
I think the fact that it's at Purdue will make this game a little closer than people expect, but I think Louisville's got too much talent and Purdue's just too slow. I think Louisville wins this game.
Next up, South Alabama heading in to Oxford, Mississippi to take on the Ole Miss Running Rebels. I'll be taking Ole Miss based on the offseason problems. This could be a little bit closer, but I'll be taking Ole Miss to get the win over South Alabama.
If Ole Miss is playing a decent team this week, I would take any decent team against Ole Miss. But fortunately for Ole Miss, they're playing South Alabama. Ole Miss wins this one.
And now for the game of the week, probably in my opinion, as number 3 Florida State goes against number 1 Alabama in Atlanta and the new Georgia Dome. I'll be taking Jalen Hurts and Bo Scarborough and head coach Nick Saban and Alabama to get the win here. Bama's been very impressive the last couple of years, and Nick Saban does not lose in their first game, so I'll be taking Alabama to get the win in a close one.
Again, I hate to agree with you, but Alabama has played in about 5 of these games at the beginning of the season where it's a super game at a neutral field. Every one of the games, they're more prepared than the other team. Jimbo Fisher's a great coach. Florida State's a great team. I think Alabama wins a close one in this one, and Alabama will roll and probably roll to another national title.
Next up, Southern Utah heading into Eugene, Oregon to take on the Oregon Ducks. Not a very good Oregon team this year, but I still think they'll get a win here. Oregon gets the win over Southern Utah.
I didn't even know Southern Utah existed. This is the first year that Oregon hasn't been ranked in the top 25 preseason in a number of years. But since I've never heard of Southern Utah, I got to go with the Oregon Ducks.
Next up, BYU heading in to Houston, Texas to take on the number 13 ranked LSU Tigers. And I think that their new head coach at LSU right now is very good. And I think LSU and the Tigers will get the win here. Very good team. Darius Geis will be a big player this year. And I think that Vanilla Ice should make a rendition of Ice Ice Baby and turn it into Geis Baby. But I'll take LSU to get the win over BYU.
It's a pretty good joke. I like the Fighting Oregons. Good Oregon. The head coach from LSU has got those guys playing hard. And I like LSU in this one to win by at least 10.
Next up, Montana State heading in to Pullman, Virginia to take on the number 24 ranked Washington State Cougars. And I'll be taking Washington State in this game. They lost their best wide receiver last year, Cooper Kupp. But I think Washington State gets the win here over Montana State.
Did you say Cooper Kupp?
Yes.
That's someone's name?
Yep.
Well, even though they lost Cooper Kupp, I got to go with Washington State here in Pullman, Washington. I think Washington State wins this one by at least a touchdown.
Next up, Northern Arizona heading in to Tempe, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona to take on the Arizona State Wildcats. And I'll be taking Arizona in this game. Arizona's been looking very strong. I'll be taking Arizona in this game.
I believe in Rich Rod. I think he's a great coach. Arizona Wildcats win big.
Next up, in a top 25 battle, is number 22 West Virginia heads in to Landover, Maryland to take on the number 21 ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. I'm going to take Virginia Tech in this game. A lot of people are liking Virginia Tech this year, and I'm one of them. So I'll be taking the Hokies to get the win over West Virginia.
Not so fast, my friend. As my friend Lee Corso says, I'm going to go with West Virginia in an upset over Virginia Tech.
Next up, Texas A&M heads in to Pasadena to California to take on the UCLA Bruins. And I think Chosen Rosen will have a good game in this game. Josh Rosen and UCLA will get the win somehow, some way over Kevin Sumlin and Texas A&M.
I think this is Pac-12 versus SEC. What's a better conference? SEC is a much better conference. Both teams are in the middle, the top part of the conference. I like Texas A&M in this game.
Next up, Georgia Tech and that triple option offense will head into Atlanta, Georgia to take on the number 25 ranked Tennessee Volunteers. I don't know much about Tennessee this year, but Butch Jones always has a good team. I'll be taking Tennessee in this game over Georgia Tech.
I just like picking against Tennessee, and I think it's hard to prepare against the triple option offensive attack of Georgia Tech. So I'm picking an upset here with Georgia Tech.
And that will do it for today's episode of Scott's Weekly Sports, ladies and gentlemen. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a nice comment down below and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys next week right here on Scott's Weekly Sports right here on YouTube. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye, guys.